Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah if you don't already know me, and today is day 4 of the Christmas challenge. If you don't know what the Christmas challenge is, you can go ahead and pop into that description box where I explain all of it in detail, because nobody likes a long-winded intro. For day 4, we will be working on some mini whales. These guys are no-sew, and they work up quite quickly. They have cute little white bellies. For today's tutorial, I will be working in plushie yarn. I will not be using safety eyes for this pattern, but you can replace the stitched eyes that I will put on later with safety eyes if that's what you like the look of more. I just don't quite prefer the safety eyes because the holes are bigger with plushie yarn, but that's all up to you. For today's tutorial, we're going to need 2 colors of yarn, one for the belly and one for the rest of the whale. If you don't want to do a belly, you can just make it solid. So when I show you how to do the color change, you can just use that same color all throughout the pattern. With your yarn, you'll need a crochet hook. I use a 6mm with size 6 yarn. I use a size 4 with size 4 yarn, and so on. You'll need a sewing needle, a pair of scissors, and a stitch marker. And you will also need some stuffing. And I think that's about it for the list of materials. We will start off with our body color, and we will begin by making a magic ring or using the chain 2 method. I will be using the chain 2 method today. In that first round, we will be putting 6 single crochets. Close up your loop as best you can. When you're working with plushie yarn, I recommend closing the loop on the second round. I find that it is much easier. For round 2, we will increase in each stitch around. And that is the end of round 2, and I will finish closing my magic ring, or I used chain 2, but they're basically the same thing. There we are, nice and closed. Now if you are using a stitch marker, just place the stitch marker at the end of each round moving forward. Round 2, we will increase and then single crochet in the next stitch, and we'll repeat that 6 times. To begin the next round, we will increase and then single crochet 2, and we'll repeat that 6 times. For the next 3 rounds, we will single crochet in each stitch around. Once you finish your 3 single crochet rounds, we will begin by making our tail. We will do this by chaining 6. We will skip the first chain in next to our hook and single crochet into the next chain. Single crochet twice more. You have a total of 3 single crochets, and then slip stitch into that last, or to the next chain. There should be 1 more chain remaining. Now we will chain 5. We won't chain 5, we'll chain 4, and I'm really sorry if I confused you guys. If you got 5, just take 1 down. We need 4, and we will single crochet in the next 3 chains, skipping that first chain. Just like so. So you'll have 3 single crochets with that skip chain. Then in that same chain where we slip stitch, we will slip stitch for a second time, and then slip stitch into that last chain, like so. Now we will single crochet. The way I like to do this to prevent gap is hook this edge of your previous single crochet and then right into the next stitch and single crochet through both of those, and that will close the gap just like that. We have to crochet the fins next, so I'll show you how to do that again. We will then single crochet 6, counting the single crochet we just made. So 1, 2, and so on. Now for the fin, we will actually chain 4. Just like so. We will slip stitch, single crochet, not slip stitch, and then half double crochet twice. Just like so. Now to repeat what we did earlier, insert your hook into that previous single crochet and then directly into the next space and single crochet normally. Now you have no gap. So counting this single crochet, we will then single crochet 12. We will create our second fin by chaining 4, skipping that first chain, single crocheting, and then half double crocheting twice. Insert your hook into the edge of that single crochet and then directly into the next space and single crochet normally. Then single crochet 6, counting that same single crochet we just made. Now at this point we will be changing color, and the way I do this is just by finishing off and joining on the new color. If you want to make your whale a solid color, just skip the finishing off process and leave your work the way it is, and we'll continue with the belly. If you are finishing off, going into that next stitch around the tail, slip stitch, chain 1, and finish off with the short tail. Just like so. The next step, we will secure our center tail with just a couple of knots. Create an arch and slip the tail under it and pull tight. And I like to do this at least twice. Now we will either attach the eyes if you're using safety eyes or sew them on if you're embroidering them. I will be embroidering them. I like to use a dark gray instead of black for the majority of my pieces because black can be pretty harsh, especially on lighter colors. So lining up with the fin on one side, we will insert our needle through that bottom stitch and then back through above it. This will create an eye, and we're going to do this several times. I like to do it at least 3 times to get more of a round eye. I would like a slightly bigger eye, so I'm going to go with 4. Bring this little tail on the inside and just drop it where it is, and using the other end that is longer, bring it across and over to that stitch here. You know, you don't want to pull this tight at all because you want your wheel to stay round. So just have it just a tiny bit tight, but not too tight. And then repeat, making your eye on the other side. There we are. I made this tail quite long because I didn't quite think about it when I was cutting it. So I'm going to snip this and I'm going to save this for the next pair of eyes when we do day 5. Spoiler alert, day 5 is a really adorable squid. So if you've gotten this far into the tutorial, you now know what next video will be like. Tie these tails into a knot. Again, don't pull too tight, and then just tuck all those tails in. When you stuff, you'll have to stuff under this and then over it once we get the belly on, so just keep that in mind while you are stuffing away. Now we will join on with our second color, which I will be using white, and we will just create a slip knot and put it onto our hook. To begin this round, we will be working in the back loop only. That slip knot that we made earlier will go right into the back loop there and into the back loop of the next stitch to create an invisible decrease. If that can be a little tight depending on the yarn you're using, so you can use a regular decrease as well. Just make sure you're in the back loop only. Now single crochet 2. And we'll just repeat that all the way around. Decrease, single crochet 2. You should have a total of 6 of those. When you get to the fin, just work around it, making sure that you're getting all the stitches that you need to grab. Just like so. And that is the end of that first round in your second color. If you're working with a smaller yarn, now would be a good time to stuff. I'm just going to put a little bit in there and then stuff properly next round. For this next round, we will just be decreasing and then single crocheting, and we'll repeat that 6 times. Now I will stuff the whale completely before we do our last round. And as you can see, we have a more defined tail than my previous pattern. If you have seen it before, the tail is about half that size, and it's kind of hard to tell that it's a whale when it's just sitting on a table. So that is the upgraded version. To do our final round, we will just be decreasing 6. Once you finish that round, slip stitch, chain 1, and snip that tail. You need about a medium length because all we'll be doing is closing this hole and then tucking the end in. We won't be doing any extra sewing. At this point, you can make sure you don't need any more stuffing. I'm very well stuffed, so I do not need any more. Thread your needle and collect all of the front loops and pull tight. Not too tight though, you don't want to snap your yarn. Now create an archway, slip your yarn under it to create a knot, and then tuck this tail in. I like to weave it back, forth, and then back one more time. So a total of 3 times. Snip this tail, tuck in those extra fluffs, and there you have your very own whale. Thank you for joining me on day 4 of the Christmas challenge. If you are not here for the Christmas challenge, thanks for following along. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed crocheting with me and creating your own very own whale. Here are the finished pieces, one with safety eyes and one without. And then of course our minis. This one has safety eyes and these ones do not. This is also made with acrylic and this is made with velvet yarn. So those are the different types of yarn that I've used this pattern on. So far all different types have worked, so feel free to use whatever yarn you like. And thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in day 5 of the Christmas challenge. Bye!